Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Love these guys. Map Men, great day when a Map Men video is posted. Jay and Mark. Preemptive like, Twin Towns, what went wrong? Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well. Original link, top description if you want to watch on your own. My name's Connor. Have I said these? Let's go. Shout out to Menvra for the recommendation. Thank you for that. Let's do it. Yes. Twin Towns, what went wrong?
Today,
so towns that share the same name,
talking
a lot in New England, and I'm pausing already 1 second in. All right.
Today, we're talking about sibling settlements,
or sister cities, as they're known in the States.
But here in Britain, no.
Why do I have French subtitles? There we go.
As twin towns.
Welcome
to
Map
Men.
We're the
men, and here's the
men. I mean map. Oh,
Map
Men.
Men.
If you're a driver in Britain, you may notice that
You may keep your eyes firmly on the road. If you're a passenger in Britain, you may notice that on the way into many of our towns and cities, you're greeted with a friendly Welcome To sign.
And many of those Welcome To signs are garnished with a curious detail.
Like there.
That detail is the words twinned with.
Didn't know you guys had these.
Twin towns are places that have formed a relationship with each other. And, just like human siblings, there's no limit on the number. Some have one, some have two, some have none, and some have loads who all argue at Christmas.
And it's not just big towns and cities that can twin with other places. Rutland's tiny Tinwell, with a total of 242 people, has its very own tiny twin called Doinked.
West Devon, not even a settlement but a local district, is twinned with Wessling in Germany.
And you can even have twins within twins.
Twinception.
The town of Tavistock has two.
Okay, so it's not about towns that share names. Okay, all right.
Two twins, even though it's part of West Devon.
It feels like there's no logic or consistency to this whole town twinning system at all.
That's because there isn't. There's no minister for settlement siblings. It's up to the places themselves to seek out connections on a completely informal basis, with whomever they like.
So, does that mean there's no centralised data about which towns are twinned with which other towns?
That's right.
And does that mean there's no map showing the UK's thousands of twin town connections?
That's not right. I decided to take the 1600 UK towns listed on Wikipedia and spend an entire month turning it into a usable table, learning how to geocode the data.
What do you mean I need a plug-in?
Until finally I completed my first ever map.
Oh, well done you.
It was the hardest thing.
A browse around this map, which the more you zoom in, the uglier it gets, allows us to have a good long look at the UK's twin towns all around the world and which countries they're in. Immediately long look at the UK's
Jeez, France is almost completely covered in.
twin towns all around the world and which countries they're in, immediately raising questions. Like, how come the UK has 7 twins in Nicaragua, but none in Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, or Belize?
Why are there only 6 Indian twins,
Twindians,
when the UK has so many historical and cultural ties to India?
And why are some British towns twinned with each other, such as Crowborough in Sussex and Horwich in Lancashire?
Sussex and Lancashire are not the same country.
Quite right.
At least one thing on this map seems to make a lot of sense, and that's the country that we can clearly see we have by far the most twins with, France.
Around half of all the UK's twin towns can be...
By the way, he said the further you zoom in, the uglier it gets. But I do like the 3D nature of the crossover lines.
Found in France.
Cool.
Closeness to home is clearly a factor, as can be best seen by scrolling along the English coast, where many southern English towns have twins the shortest possible hop across the channel.
But if it were just closeness to home that decided how the Brits picked their siblings, you'd expect to see similar twinterest in the Netherlands or our actual closest neighbour, Ireland. But there isn't.
France is an unacceptably popular choice, so there must be some other specific factor that makes France the country we turn to so much for twinspiration.
Historical connection? Well, I guess you have a lot of historical connection to the Netherlands and Ireland too, so just their long history of being frenemies.
What could it be?
It's time to rewind to the war.
Which war?
The First War.
100
First
years?
war?
The First World War.
Oh.
In 1918, surviving soldiers returned home from a difficult few years in northern France.
And returning to Keighley in Yorkshire, one soldier couldn't forget the destruction of the town he'd been fighting in.
That's how you pronounce Keithley?
Poix du Nord.
What do you know?
Poix du Nord.
Poix du Nord.
So he rallied the people of Keithley to save up their pennies and sent Poix du Nord some money to rebuild their community hall.
The people of Poix du Nord were touched, and in 1920, these new town pals decided to make their cross-channel bond official, sparking the world's first use of the words twin towns.
Fun fact?
Go on.
Keithley is just 12 miles from the very centre of Britain.
Ooh, 12 miles. Britain and France had firmly established the concept of town twinning, but it really started to take off after the war. Sorry, the Second World War.
This time, the conflict was even more devastating than the first time round, meaning when peace finally did arrive, European nations were even more desperate to be excellent to each other.
Town twinning turned out to be just the thing. Britain and France built on what they'd started, with more towns pairing up for educational exchanges, mayoral visits, and friendly football matches. The opposite of World War II.
At this time, non-British towns started twinning with other non-British towns, but that's quite simply not what this video
Mobile, Alabama. Tiberias, Israel. Parma.
is about.
Town twinning was so just a thing that soon it wasn't just being done by former allies, but by former enemies too. Dresden in Germany, a city of about 500,000 people which had been decimated by bombs and lost its historic cathedral, twinned up with Coventry, a city of about 500,000 people that got decimated by bombs and lost its historic cathedral. Many of the new post-war twinnings were grounded in rebuilding buildings and economies.
Sunderland shared shipbuilding expertise with shipbuilders in Saint-Nazaire,
Preston teamed up with Nîmes due to their shared ties in the textile trade.
and St Helens, famous for its glass trade, twinned with Stuttgart to replace all the windows Britain had just smashed.
It was the perfect gesture of forgiveness, a bit like shaking hands at the end of a very ill-tempered game of cricket where almost everyone had been killed. Forming ties after a horrible war is a good, solid reason for town twinning, and explains all the European links on our map.
But what about all those other non-European connections? Why does the UK have 17 twins in Australia, 9 in Japan, and 42 in China?
Also World War II, maybe? Australia, big ally. Japan, big enemy. China, big ally.
Australia, 9 in Japan, and 42 in China. Are you alright?
Haven't drunk any water for like 3 days. Just a bit dry.
You should really drink some water.
Stay hydrated.
I'm done with it. Water's boring.
I guess you haven't tried Air Up.
Nope.
Here, try Air Up.
Okay. That is actually amazing. What the hell is that?
It's water,
Don't lie, that's too nice to be water.
but it is water.
Well, how come it tastes so damn amazing?
Because Air Up is a
All in
water
spring.
bottle like you've never seen before.
Too right.
As you sip the water through the straw, the air carries the scent from the flavour pod, making it taste just like flavoured water, but really you're just drinking pure water while enjoying the aroma.
That actually sounds not like science, but like magic.
And the clip bottle has one-click opening in a range of colours. It's healthy, delicious, and you can pick from loads of flavours, including watermelon, iced tea, strawberry shake, wild berry, and bazillions more.
Absolute yum yum.
Yes, I win!
Yeah, well, you only won because I was using my other hand to click the link in the description and enter the code MATMEN to get 10% off across AirUp's website, excluding promo bundles.
You're welcome.
And the best part about drinking all this water is I finally need a wee.
Right, where were we? What stupid comment was I trying to say? Oh, for some reason I don't like flavored water, regular water, non-carbonated, but I love flavored seltzers, sparkling water. I don't know why, but it's a thing.
Before 1965, British roads were an unadministered typographic sign salad, until the government introduced the Traffic Signs Regulations and General Directions, a set of new rules for all road signs in the UK.
In it came
Regulations and General Directions, a set of new
Only one sign may be written in Dutch, but we won't specify which one. No italic signs.
rules
Do not smirk at the road signs. Okay. Do not crash into a road sign on purpose.
for all
Do not play snap with a road. What's snap? Do not boast about a road sign.
road signs in the UK.
I
It
thought
came a
that
new
was
standardised directive for
long
the
list.
appearance of a new type of sign that, to that point, hadn't really been a feature of UK roadsides, the Welcome To sign.
Suddenly, all the places that had formed post-war bonds across Europe had the chance to show them off.
Ooh, fancy that.
This place name peacocking had a predictable consequence. No self-respecting town could sit by and let their local rival advertise an exotic new BFF while their signs meekly implored highway code observance.
And so many of the left-out towns went on the hunt for their own twins to put on their own signs as opposed to anyone passing down the B453.
With World War II now 20 years and counting ago, why settle on Norden or Nantes when the door was now open to exotic locations across the planet? Towns could spread the world map in front of them and hit up whichever hot towns they fancied.
Aren't they siblings?
Mixed metaphor.
Some towns teamed up with places
It could be like I'm sure it's not the main reason, but I'm sure it could be like kind of a tourist agreement between the two twin towns. And that, you know, if you see a town you like and you love experiencing being in that town, and you see it as a twin town, maybe you'd be more likely to want to go and visit. So could be play a part in tourism, maybe?
they had a diaspora. Aren't they siblings?
Mixed metaphor.
Some towns teamed up with places they had a diaspora from,
Haringey found a Jamaican twin in Clarendon.
while others teamed up with places they'd sent a diaspora to.
Belfast found an American twin in Boston. And some connections were born of a shared politics. In the 80s, when America was trying to oust the
Nicaragua?
left-wing Nicaraguan government, 7 lefty Labour councils set up twins as a show of support.
This had the added benefit of making places like Sheffield sound 1.5 times more tropical than they were.
So far, so sensible.
But in their rush to keep up welcome sign appearances, some towns had to do a bit of barrel scraping to justify their new exotic siblings.
In 1977, Edinburgh twinned with San Diego due to a shared love of dogs.
Woof.
Who doesn't?
Not to be outdone, nearby Glasgow teamed up with Havana, Cuba, based on a shared love of music.
I like music.
That doesn't make you
Exactly. These are so broad.
interesting. And love of music.
I like music.
That doesn't make you interesting. And nor is
Damn.
this place. Elizabeth Leighton, who lived near the town of Dull in Scotland, wrote a letter to the government of Boring in Oregon.
Dear Mayor of Boring, my name is Elizabeth Leighton, and I live near the town of Dull in Scotland. I'm writing to you with the suggestion that our two towns join together to become twin towns. Dull and Boring are two words that have the same meaning. That means that if we became twin towns, that would be rather funny. If this suggestion is accepted, it would be the most interesting thing to happen to me since 1998, when I discovered my favorite crisp flavor had changed from plain to ready salted.
USA, suggesting that they become twins for no other reason than it would be funny. Boring wrote back and said yes, please.
5 years later, an Australian in the district of Bland wrote to Dull and Boring asking to get in on the joke. And today, the Trinity of Tedium is top of the atypical tourist trail.
I love people.
Lots of towns similarly chose their twins based on nothing more than their name, including sharing the same one. Examples include Christchurch, Christchurch, Rye, Rye, Portsmouth, Portsmouth, Taunton, Taunton, Tamworth, Tamworth, and Stratford-upon-Avon, Stratford, 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 to name just a few.
It seemed like the longer it had been since the war, the sillier town twins were becoming.
In 2002, Wincanton in Somerset twinned with the fictional city of Ankh-Morpork from Terry Pratchett's fantasy novels. Wincanton in Somerset twinned with the fictional city of Ankh-Morpork from Terry Pratchett's fantasy novels.
In 2000,
Oh my god. I want my town to be twinned with the Shire.
2010, Swindon twinned with Disney World after the theme park set up a twinning competition, which, to be fair, was a genius bit of PR for both parties.
Mickey Mouse himself attended the ceremony.
As a result of all these silly sister cities, people in the UK started to question whether the entire twinning thing was a complete waste of time.
Anyone researching the websites of twin towns would have found little to alleviate that impression.
Such as Helston's Twin Towns page, which resorted to vague jargon like
Foster cultural exchange
and
break down cultural boundaries.
the city of Wells's best attempt at a tangible benefit was the time they hosted
Taste of Twinning, a murder mystery.
Alnwick made no attempt to explain their
Strong link between the firemen of both towns.
and Chaim Ferrers boasted of
A trip to a castle with a butterfly farm.
Some suspected that officials might be using their twin towns as an excuse to misuse taxpayer money for official visits to some curiously relaxing destinations.
So the tourism point. But, I mean, how much taxpayer money has to go into putting a few letters on a road sign.
The tide of public opinion had well and truly turned, and so, for the first time since their inception, some towns made the sad decision to untwin.
Unspeakable.
In 2009, outspoken Doncaster Mayor Peter Davis announced he was scrapping all 5 of their twinning links on the basis that only about a dozen people ever benefited.
Another thing he said in 2009.
What do you mean? What do you...
Links on the basis that only about a dozen people ever benefited.
Okay, one, what benefited out of what? And 2, how did he get that a dozen number?
Another thing he said in 2009 was, one thing to be said about the Taliban is they do have an ordered society.
Other towns followed.
An ordered society. I wouldn't want... never mind.
Suit, ditching their twins, including Wallingford in 2009, Bishop Stortford in 2011, and Llandarog in Wales.
Fun fact.
Go on.
Bishop Stortford is the 8th driest place in Britain.
That's very interesting. But those who criticise twin towning have missed the point. It doesn't have to cost a lot of taxpayer money, or indeed a lot of money at all.
Some of the strongest links between towns are the ones led by local community groups.
The East Grinstead Town Twinning Association, despite its dog's dinner of a logo, is the one website that seems to have the perfect answer to the question, why twinning? Why not?
Perhaps the whole point of town twinning is the signs themselves. They're a permanent and visible reminder that we're not alone, that there are other non-British places out there, and they're not so different from ours. And they want to be our friends too. And out there somewhere in the world, the names of our British towns are on their signs as well.
In a world that's increasingly insular and inward-looking, these publicly pronounced place names are a ubiquitous silent protest, a subliminal resistance against jingoistic isolationism.
Can I have my car back?
Of course.
Patriotism. What? Characterized by extreme patriotism, especially in the form of aggressive or warlike foreign policy. Isn't this is this a joke that he made that I just went over my head? Because this seems like the exact opposite. How can it be patriotic by recognizing a town in another country? And how is it aggressive or warlike when it's supposed to bring you together? Was that just a joke that went over my head? I also want to look at the map.
Of course, this
Against jingoistic isolationism, ubiquitous silent world that's increasingly insular and inward-looking, these publicly pronounced place names are a ubiquitous silent protest, a subliminal resistance
I'm so stupid. Jesus Christ, that was his whole point.
against jingoistic isolationism.
Can I have my car back?
Of course, this
God dang, I've been wrong many times, never...
invaluable map of twin towns will evolve over time to reflect wider changes in the world. A number of UK towns have, for instance, since the invasion of Ukraine, suspended their twinnings with Russian towns.
Just as loads of UK towns have set up twins with Ukrainian ones. Their olive branch of wartime solidarity, happily,
Or indeed, sadly.
bringing the town twin story full circle.
Today, the map of UK twin towns is a massively varied mix of places, purposes and practices. And we think that's something to be celebrated, because whether you helped rebuild a bombed-out city or hosted a slightly tipsy murder mystery party, a small connection is better than no connection.
So why do we only have 6 twins in India?
I don't know, I never looked it up.
Oh! Yeah, don't forget to use the code MAPMAN to get 10% off Air Up.
True, if you learned about it through me, this Air Up, just make sure to use their links and their codes. Just the right thing to do. I'm watching other people's content. When they have a sponsor, I want to make sure to wash it through and ask you guys to, if you were, I'm not saying you need to buy it, but if you do want to buy it and it interests you, just make sure to use the /MapMen, the code MapMen. Just the right thing to do. I want the, do they have a link to, here it is. Perfect. No, I don't. Okay, perfect. I want to see some that are near me. Worcester, Millbury, Boston. How many near me? Any Rhode Island ones? Is this for West Warwick or for Anthony? What's the closest one to me? Ooh, Taunton. Pawtucket. It's where my mom grew up. Pawtucket, not far from me at all. I'd like to... So does that mean... So I want to... You know, Pawtucket is very close. I'd like to go and find out if there's a Welcome to Pawtucket sign with the Twin Cities with blank. I'm going to try and check that out. See if that's the case. Great video. Hope everyone's doing well. Jay and Mark, Matt Men, love those guys, and fantastic channel. Great video. Hope everyone's doing well. Would appreciate any comments down below as always. Any answers to any questions. You guys are always great. And I hope I'll see you guys next time. We'll keep on learning. Bye, guys.